Grail week continues over at WearTesters. Even though it's not really Grail week, it's just a Grail video. I got these back. I used to own these. I used to own these in almost every color. Plus, they had one of the best ad campaigns ever. Hey, what's good guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today I got something really special because I finally got these back. I'm super excited. It's not the only pair. Like I have one other pair and it's back there. It's on my wall. It might be right out of view.
Yeah, you can't see that high up.
Okay, so they're a Nike ID pair of Kobe 8s, which you got me. That's the only Kobe 8 that I have left. So this is now one of two, and I just think it's awesome. And these were also provided, well, I bought them, but I got them from one of our Discord members, which is super cool. So Rooster32, he hooked me up with two pairs. I'll get to the other one later, but I wanted to talk about these first because this is just one of my favorite Kobe's ever. And this colorway is just great. So at the time, this right here, I thought was like the greatest guard shoe of all time. Like I thought these were so great. I still think that they're one of the greatest guard shoes of all time. However, I don't think that they're the greatest. I just think that they're one of. And what is the greatest? I don't know, man. Don't ask me that right now. I can't think that fast. All I know is that these are still a great shoe, and it's super weird. They're light. These are the Christmas edition of the Kobe 8s. I used to have the originals of these in this colorway, but mine were from China. Mine were the China version. They used to call them GC, Greater China, and they had XDR outsoles. The rubber was solid rubber, not clear rubber, and the herringbone was different on those too. So this guy right here has traditional herringbone, which is like peaked, and the ones from the China ones were like this. They were like flat, and it was for like, what would you call it? Like more smooth wear.
So it doesn't get just chipped away.
Yeah, it was so that it didn't just like break off and stuff. It would wear way smoother, like more uniform than typical herringbone and stuff. It was made for outdoors. But the Kobe 8 is interesting because it was the sequel to the original drop-in system for the Kobe line. So there was the Kobe 7 system, and then there's the Kobe 8 system.
So this is part 2?
Kind of. They did it way better in this one too, because the Kobe 7s, I absolutely love how those look, but man, did they f me up, dude. These guys right here, they were just way better all the way around. So the traction I touched on just a little bit, you got herringbone and everything, and then you have these snake scales, and then we have a glass-based carbon fiber shank plate right there. It's a little foggy because, you know, over the years, it's like that. And then inside the shoe, when you take it all out, it's pretty much nothing. And these guys right here had the drop-in midsoles. This one right here is Lunar Lawn. I believe there was 3 options, I think. I might be remembering that incorrectly. I really can't remember actually now that I'm starting to think about it. Because there was this one, the All-Star version was different. Oh, maybe there was 3, because then the All-Star I think had that chip. Remember when they were doing that?
Oh, the Nike Plus system?
Yeah, and they had it for basketball, and it was very short-lived because it wasn't any good. It didn't track any actual useful stats. Yeah, so I think that that was that, and then I think that it was Lunar or something like that, plus, or it could have been Cushlon, plus Zoom in the heel, and I think the Elite version had a different insole as well. I believe that one was Cushlon with Zoom. I could be completely wrong. I really can't remember. If you remember, feel free to let me know. I know that you guys do that anyway.
This is true.
But anyways, this is the Lunar Lawn version, and this stuff right here, it's really interesting because this is practically brand new, and it's so funny how something's so comfortable back then, when you put it on now, you're like, it didn't hold up. They make shoes way more comfortable now. Like even the Cushlon that's in the Protros as a foam in and of itself is softer and more comfortable than this. Believe it or not, it's not as durable.
Are you sure it's not just stale?
No. It's got some spring to it still. But it was the Kobe 7s that had 2 versions. One of them was Cushlon, and that one was super comfortable. When I switched over to Lunar, I was a little bummed about that. But it's still a good setup. It's just funny that it's not quite as good. So this is a shoe where I'm sure that this is on the Protro list, right? So what would we do to Protro this?
Think.
I love the midsole treatment, splatter all day. Also, the stained glass upper on these guys right here, which is what these scales were supposed to represent. I think they're fantastic. There's actually 2 versions of the Christmas Kobe because this shoe was in production so long that this was the Christmas Day shoe when the model first released back in December, and I had gotten the black and yellow ones. And then the shoe was still in production the following Christmas, and so then they did that really weird one with the plasticky scales. It looked like a punk rocker version of the Kobe 8s, and I don't like those at all. I think that that's just a weird thing. Some people cut off that thing, like they like shed the skin. It looked weird either way. Also, the heel counter on this thing is fantastic. And then, remember these guys right here? I still have the socks where the Shizuku logo is on the collar of your quarter cuts. So when you would wear the shoe, man, it was so cool. So cool. What a weird gimmick. That was awesome.
I bet you those socks are stale.
Yeah, those can smell, man. Like there's no washing the smell out of those things. They are old. And as far as sizing is concerned, if you happen to be in the market for a pair, I would recommend going true to size. However, if you're just wearing them casually, they are very snug. So going up half a size might be beneficial. And now let's talk about Protro possibilities.
How are you gonna do it? What is your dream?
So the first thing that I would do if this was a Protro is dump this thing.
Would you use the one like they put in those Air Forces?
No, I would dump the concept altogether. I would make this an actual midsole.
Okay.
So I would not hollow this out. That's the first thing I would do. And then the midsole itself, being that these are so low to the floor already, like this is a very low profile shoe, I would make this midsole Cushlon. I don't think it would be such a bad thing. Now, on top of that Cushlon though, which is what they should be doing for all of these Protros, I don't know why they only did it with the first one, but on top of that Cushlon midsole, there should be a full-length Zoom Strobel. You have no reason not to do it. You can still do the Kobe system aspect of things by making two versions because you also have a Air Strobel unit that you can use if you wanted to.
I feel like that's a lot to jam pack in there with it being so low.
Nope. You can embed it into the... It would, trust me, there is nothing Nike can't do. So don't tell me that.
So you would keep the Feature, or what
That's a different brand.
No. What does it say inside of the 6 on the?
Oh, the mold to your foot thing?
Yeah.
With those Strobel units, they have two different insoles that they've used. One of them has been like that, which is in the KD line, right? It's also in the Cosmic Unity.
Okay.
Okay, so using that insole again isn't out of the question because it's there. And then there's the PG insole, which is just a cheap Ortholite, like fluffy, looks recycled, and that's so that it conforms to the Air unit. But yeah, so that's exactly what I would do with the cushion aspect of things, is that I would keep the Kobe system aspect, but I would change the system entirely. I just give you two options. You can have Air, you can have Zoom. I would completely ditch the removable aspect of this. It's not that great, and on top of that, you end up making this rubber so thin that for one, it's super flexible, which is great, but it breaks. As soon as this stuff starts to harden up, it will crack on you. A lot of people that have played in these before know this, and that's what I would recommend to combat that, is that by gluing it completely onto the midsole itself, you strengthen it.
Like, how long have they been playing in these for them to crack like that?
Within that year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was picturing it like, hey, I've had these for 5 years.
Nope, this was one of the most popular shoes of the time.
Oh, I know.
Okay, and I was hooping at Fremont High School. I'd run into the high school kids all the time because I was running the class there at night, and so they'd be in and out of practice, and their pairs were obliterated, like ripped up here, everything. And there'd be, but they loved them so much that they keep playing in them. And so that's what I would do. I would make it way more durable just by making an actual midsole, not a drop-in system.
Yeah.
Gluing the bottom directly to it, which will strengthen it. That's why Jordan products like the Why Not series and the 28, 29, 30, stuff like that with the hollowed out midsole, the unlock Zoom, they rip because that portion of the rubber isn't glued to anything. It's just there. So you're constantly flexing, rip, you know what I mean? And so that's just what happens. And it's great for flex, but you need some durability when these shoes run, and a Protro of this would run at least 180. So make it more durable.
It's like kind of like a rubber band where
The more you stretch that,
but also if you don't use it,
yeah, it'll snap too.
So-
That's the downside. That's why I was glad that these were used, because I have pairs like my Kobe 9 IDs, which I just left in the box, and I pulled them out recently, and I was like, man, like not only did they not age well, but the rubber started getting hard. And when you do that, it doesn't grip well. It's slippery, and then it'll also break. And I'm just like, this sucks. Those were expensive. I should have worn them a little more.
yeah.
I put them in the box and I moved them, and then I forgot about them. But anyway, so that's what I would do. It would instantly fix the durability of the traction as far as the ripping aspect, not the actual durability of the rubber. That's just something that, you know, Nike doesn't care about. So we're not even gonna address that issue with the Protro because we know that they wouldn't fix it. Although they would claim that they would add more rubber or something like that, and you'd be like, where? You know what I mean? They did that with the 6s, and I was like, where did you do this?
They're gonna add some more scales in between the scales.
Something like that.
Ooh,
Yeah, those are some brakes right there.
they sound like your car.
The station wagon? I love that thing. But anyways, that pretty much takes care of it for these guys. Again, big thank you to Rooster32 for hooking me up with these. There's a second pair. I'm gonna talk about them soon. It's an epic pair on top of that. I love them. Not as much as these, but they're right up there.
Oh, wow.
I know, I think they're fantastic. And it's my first time owning that shoe.
What?
Yeah, super excited. So thank you so much for everything. Thanks for all the support. And until next time, guys, have a good one.